Late one night, my CB crackled to life on a dead channel. Someone begging for help, claiming their rig was being dragged into the dark by something with claws. I was miles from the nearest town, the desert stretching endlessly under a moonless sky. The cold seeped through the cab's cracked window, and the road was empty, just me and the endless hum of the tires. Normally, Channel 6 was silent, a graveyard of static on my radio. That's why I never expected to hear anything on it. But then it happened, the crackle. A voice, weak, desperate, cutting through the silence like a scream in a cathedral. It was the kind of voice that made your skin crawl, the kind that begged you to listen. A voice calling out in the night. The details were vague at first. Something about being dragged, something clawing at their rig. I remember gripping the steering wheel tighter, heart pounding with a mix of curiosity and dread. I answered. The moment my voice came through the mic, the air seemed to change. It was as if the radio waves carried more than sound. They carried a warning. The voice paused, then whispered, "Found you." That simple phrase made my blood run cold. I glanced at the dashboard. The rig stalled, headlights flickered. I swear the air grew heavier, like a storm was pressing down on me, though the sky was clear. Then came the scraping. Something massive dragged along the side of my trailer doors, a slow, grinding noise like claws on steel. My breath hitched. I was alone on a lonely stretch of highway, and yet something was there with me. My fingers trembled on the radio mic, but I couldn't stop listening. Every time I turned on Channel 6, that same whisper echoed through the static, chilling me to the bone. Now, every time I turn on Channel 6, I hear my own voice screaming. At first, I thought it was a coincidence, a trick of the radio. But it wasn't. It's like the voice was trapped inside the channel, repeating itself over and over. My own screams echoed back at me through the crackling static. I started avoiding Channel 6, hoping it would stop. But the voice found a way to come back, louder and clearer each time. Sometimes, late at night, I swear I can hear the claws scraping again, and the weight of that dark presence pressing down on me. I'm caught in a nightmare with no escape, haunted by my own voice, screaming from a channel that should have been dead. The rig stalled, headlights flickered, and something massive scraped along my trailer doors. I remember that moment like it was yesterday. I was frozen behind the wheel, heart pounding so loud I thought it would burst through my chest. The headlights dimmed, flickering like a dying candle, throwing strange shadows against the road. Then came the noise, slow, deliberate, scraping along the metal of the trailer. Not like any animal I've ever heard. It was something else, something unnatural. I stepped out, flashlight shaking in my hand. The cold air hit me like a wall. There was nothing there, no footprints, no sign of a creature. But the marks on the trailer doors told a different story. 3 long gouges, jagged and deep, like claws had torn through the steel. I knew then I wasn't alone. Something was with me, watching, waiting. Now, every time I turn on Channel 6, I hear my own voice screaming. But it's not just my voice. Sometimes it's different, twisted, distorted, like someone else speaking through me. I've tried to ignore it, tried to tell myself I'm imagining things. But the longer I listen, the more I realize the truth. Whatever is out there, it's not just copying me, it's inside me. And every time I hear that scream, I'm losing a little bit of myself. The voice on Channel 6 isn't just a warning, it's a curse. Now every time I turn on Channel 6, I hear my own voice screaming. And I know it's only a matter of time before it drags me into the dark. I don't know what's out there, what those claws belong to, or why it chose me. But I know this. The channel is no longer just a radio frequency. It's a doorway, and I'm trapped on the other side, So if you ever hear a voice on Channel 6 begging for help, don't answer. Because once you do, it finds you. And your scream will be the next one echoing in the static. I thought it was going to be just another routine stop, the kind you make hundreds of times on the road. Pull off for a break, stretch your legs, maybe grab a quick snack. It was just past midnight when I rolled into Rest Stop 17. Normally, places like this are a little noisy. Drivers chatting, the hum of trucks coming and going. But this night, everything was dead silent. Not a single sound except the faint whisper of wind. As I climbed down from my cab, I noticed something strange. A kid was standing by the vending machines, perfectly still, staring blankly ahead. He wasn't fidgeting, looking around, or buying anything. Just standing there, frozen in place. I blinked, and when I looked again, he was gone. I thought maybe my tired eyes were playing tricks on me. I shook my head and figured it was nothing, but as I returned to my cab, my eyes caught something in the glass. The kid was right there, outside my window, staring back at me. Only this time he was smiling. Not a friendly smile, though. His eyes were hollow, like empty sockets that somehow pierced through me. The smile sent a chill down my spine. I slammed the door, heart racing. I fired up the engine and took off as fast as I could. But from that moment, I knew something was wrong, something that wasn't going away. After I left Rest Stop 17, I couldn't stop checking my mirrors. Every time I glanced back, I saw the same thing, the kid sitting quietly in my sleeper berth. That same hollow smile, always closer than before. At first I tried to convince myself it was just exhaustion, maybe a trick of the light or my mind playing cruel games. But no matter where I looked, he was there, constant, silent. Later that night, I stopped at another truck stop and tried to talk to other drivers about what I'd seen. No one else reported seeing the kid or anything unusual at Rest Stop 17. But a few whispered about old rumors, about a boy who had disappeared there years ago. No one knew what happened to him. Some said the boy never left, that he was stuck, waiting for someone to notice. Then the weird stuff really started. My radio would crackle with static, sometimes filled with faint whispers I couldn't understand. The lights inside the cab flickered, like something was messing with the electricity. I would hear soft taps on the windows, but when I looked, no one was there. The more I tried to ignore it, the worse it got. That feeling of being watched never left. The kid wasn't just a ghost story anymore. He was real. And somehow, he was tied to me. I couldn't stop thinking about that kid. His smile, those empty eyes, they haunted me. I needed answers. I started digging into the history of Rest Stop 17, looking through old news archives and police reports. That's when I found out his name, Danny. Danny was a boy who vanished without a trace near that very spot over 10 years ago. The details were sketchy. Some said he ran away. Others whispered about something darker. But there was no clear explanation, no sign of what really happened to him. I called some of the older truckers, people who had been driving those roads for decades. They warned me to stay away from Rest Stop 17 at night. Said that anyone who stopped there after dark sometimes didn't come back the same, or didn't come back at all. The more I learned, the more obsessed I became. I felt like I was chasing something I didn't fully understand. I started piecing together the stories, the sightings, the strange phenomena. It was like Danny's spirit was tied to that place, and to me. I knew I was in over my head, but I couldn't turn back now. I needed to know the truth, no matter what it cost. Against every warning, I returned to Rest Stop 17. The air was colder than before, the night thicker. When I got out of the truck, the silence pressed down on me, heavy and unnatural. Then I saw him again, Danny, standing by the vending machine, his hollow eyes locking onto mine. I tried to look away, but I couldn't. He moved closer without a sound, slipping inside my cab like he belonged there. The temperature dropped sharply, and I could see my breath fogging the windows. Every mirror reflected the same image, him sitting just behind me, smiling that empty smile. I was frozen in place, heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body wouldn't respond. The air felt thick, like I was drowning in silence. For the first time, I realized this wasn't just some restless ghost. It was something else, something watching me, waiting for me, and I was trapped. Then the memories hit me, fragments I'd buried deep in my mind. Years ago, when I was just a kid, I had been near Rest Stop 17. I remembered glimpses of a boy, Danny, but I'd pushed it away, locked it inside. I started to question everything. Was I really just a victim in this? Or had I somehow brought this curse upon myself? Was it possible that I was connected to Danny's disappearance in ways I couldn't yet understand? The thought was terrifying. What if I was part of the reason this all happened? What if this wasn't just a haunting, but something personal? Something I couldn't escape? Now, every time I look into my mirrors, Danny is there, sitting quietly, watching me. And the worst part? Last night, I forgot to lock my cab. Because sometimes the things that haunt us aren't just shadows outside the window. Sometimes they're sitting right beside us, waiting for the door to open. Rest. Stop 17 isn't just a place. It's a doorway. And I don't know if I'm going to make it out the next time it opens. If you ever find yourself there after midnight, watch your mirrors. Because you might not be alone.